Pastor Brandon back here with you on our third week, third day of our quarantine, and man, am I having fun. Pastor Bob told us yesterday that we are preparing for communion this Sunday, and man, I'm excited about that. I know it's going to be really different, and he gave us a few pointers to be kind of focusing on coming for Sunday, and I wanted to kind of lean in a little bit to the restoring relationship part of his talk from yesterday. 1 John 3:16 says, "This is how we know what love is, that Christ laid his life down for us, and we ought to lay our lives down for one another." That's Brandon's paraphrase. But basically, as we think about communion and how Christ died for us, how Christ came and gave up his life for us to restore our relationship with him, that's what real love looks like. And as we're kind of confined to these small spaces for an extended period of time and not even knowing how long we're going to be confined to these spaces, the relationship aspect gets really hard. And I think if you were to ask me, "Hey Brandon, would you lay your life down for your family?" I'd say absolutely. But if Matt came in and said, "Hey Brandon, how about laying down your sarcasm?" That would be a little bit harder. And "Hey Brandon, how about laying down that lame joke, because that's going to really frustrate your kids?" That would be a little bit harder. But I think as we're confined in these spaces and we're thinking on communion and our relationship that's been restored with God, how can we be sure our relationships are restored with one another? How can we lay our lives down for one another during this time period? And going beyond the family as well, how can we lay our lives down for our neighbors during this time period? Just be thinking about these things, especially as we come into the first week of the month and we come to communion and we're remembering that the bread represents Christ's body that was broken for us, and the cup represents Christ's blood that was spilled for us, that was for the remission of our sins, that he restored that relationship. Be thinking through how you need to maybe restore the relationships with the people you're in close proximity with. It's a challenge for me. It really is. And so I want to encourage you this week to be thinking through 1 John 3:16 and how Christ loved us and how we need to take that love that Christ has for us and we need to continue to love each other.